Americans have a deeply held conviction that religion is a personal and private matter, that it is something we do in our own hearts or with our immediate family, and that it is to be respected and to a certain extent left alone because it is such a personal and private matter.
You're talking about a great number of different sectarian groups who share a few things in common, but there are a great many differences between them as well. And I think because of that, it might be difficult to portray religion per se in any great depth.
I think the portrayals of religion are becoming less sacred. I think in what's called the postmodern age, in which secularism has prevailed, you have license to portray everything in a way, with especially some of those, Family Guy, I think that's one of the titles, to portray things in a way that you no longer have the League of Decency, whatever, monitoring it.
I'm not sure that television sees itself as needing to present Christian perspectives. I don't think right now that it's necessarily being anything other than neutral.
Most depictions of religion are either very neutral or even somewhat antagonistic in present-day television programming, and has been for a while.
Religion in the media is a matter of trafficking in stereotypes. The depiction of religion is typically very superficial and will generally be evoking certain well-established preconceptions about religion.
I see religion parodied a lot on shows like Big Bang Theory, for example, The Simpsons, and places like that.
When you go for laughs and when you try to create some kind of comedy, you're going to be focused in a way that will not communicate as readily the depth of the tradition or the other side of what that ritual is all about.
I don't think, though, that primetime television is going to give one considerable religious comfort.
Another reason maybe that the programming on television and in the movies has not necessarily been the most uplifting side of religion and Christianity in particular is because the church has not done a really great job of putting itself forth and of getting the word out about who we are and what we do.
In and of itself, film and video is part of the church obligation to reach parishioners.
Most television shows stick with the well-established stereotypes that everybody knows what the reaction is going to be and then move on. Don't ever drill down deep into religion because there's nothing but trouble there. All you're going to do is offend somebody and you're going to get a very strong counter-reaction to it.
The kind of nihilism that has erupted in the last 30, 40 years has increased dramatically. Politicians have been subject to ridicule. Lawyers, which was an honored profession when I was a young boy, has been subject to derision. Ministers, rabbis, priests.
In the last 20 years or so, there's been a lot of bifurcation of religious groups and emphases on this, that, or the other within religious expression that has caused, I think that's caused a lot of the focus that's taking place now as well. We're a lot more complicated now than we were 20, 30, 40 years ago.
The varieties of religious experience in the United States are greater than they've ever been, and television naturally reflects that. My sense of it is that it reflects it, as it always has, and I think always will, in stereotypical ways.
A character's religious foundation is kind of an important part of understanding who he is or what he is.
I've known and met people who fit the type of person that's depicted very often on television shows. So it's not that it's been misrepresented, it's just that the representation of religion has been so narrow.
I think certain issues regarding redemption, regarding resurrection, that make their way into a number of movies that have sort of Christian values.
I'm not surprised at all that references in these near-apocalyptic times and with Israel would increase, and you would have reflections on the religious attitudes of Jews.
Portrayal of religion on television most of the time doesn't go deep enough to be accurate or to evoke in a responsible way the actual lived experiences of religious people.
I'm not sure that one is going to get a sense of what it is to be a Christian by watching television.
Seems to me that it's being very trivialized and made to appear as if it just is something important to a very small and rather strange minority of the population.
If all I knew about Judaism or Christianity or some faith was by watching a certain TV show or a certain episode, what would I conclude?